All right. Put that thing off to the side. Let's look at these things. All right, guys. What we have to start out with is I cut a old extension cord that I had laying around that I figured was going to be useful. I've got both ends here. Nothing fancy. It'll get the job done for now. I got an extended, like a longer reach on this on the thermocouple that goes to the PID controller. We got a solid state relay here. Everything's kind of temporarily wired in, so I'm gonna redo the wiring that's right there. We've got door latches that I just picked up off of eBay or on Amazon. I'll put those in the description below of what all this stuff is. I think most of the stuff I got, even the PID controller, I got off of Amazon. We've got a roll of smoker gasket that's going to go around the door, a roll of aluminum foil tape, and I did my research on this. This is actually, it actually says here, right here, high temp resistance. So this thing's, I want to say this stuff is good up to like 400 or 500 degrees. A lot of aluminum tape isn't as high temp. So again, in the description of what aluminum foil tape I use, foil washers and nuts that go to the screws. I'll show you what I'm doing with that. The all thread here that's going to go between these two pieces of aluminum angle, and I'm basically custom making my shelf. And like you saw in the intro, you'll get a better idea. I'll walk you kind of through a little bit of what I'm doing here for the shelf and for what these are going to be used for. They're going to go in the side, you know, poke through the side, and then the shelf will just slide onto these through this. So I've already temporarily made this oven, if you will. It's foil lined already. I'm actually going to line this again with some of this here material that picked up from not Harbor Freight, but Home Depot. I'll link what I got there. This is also from Home Depot, but it's not the correct stuff for what you want to line this inside with. And then that hole down there is for the heat gun that goes through there. You kind of see some green on there. That's actually high temp tape that is for like masking and stuff, but it works really well to kind of go around some of that kind of stuff. So the styrofoam isn't shown, isn't directly into the heat, because you see right here, I've already used this once or twice. The heat will actually kind of deform and melt some of this stuff. So it's important to not use or not show the styrofoam. But either way, and then it's all going to go in this cabinet that used to be a dog kennel, but I put some casters on it. It's still got the top on it that's not screwed down or anything. I need to widen it a little bit so that thing will fit in there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that in there, and then there's going to be a door on the front. So that way I can seal up the front. Everything's going to be fairly secure on the inside, and then I'll have a rack system that slides everything in from this way. So hopefully I'll be able to do a full, you know, like dirt bike frame, and then possibly be able to powder coat with it if it will get up to temperature and stay there. I haven't got to that temperature yet. Cerakote is only like 250 degrees, 275 or something like that. So it's not super hot, whereas powder coat is significantly warmer. But yeah, we'll see. Overall, I think I'll have about 200 bucks in this whole thing, except for obviously the wood that it took to do all this here. But either way, you could probably build this for around 200, 250 bucks all in, even with the heat gun. And you can have a pretty good size, like that's about a 20 by 28 inch oven. And you can do at least Cerakote in it, pretty big items of Cerakote, as well as powder coat potentially. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get to work. All right, guys, a little update. I got the inner pieces here cut. I just need to tape all those seams. It's a little long. I don't know what I'm going to do yet for this edge. I think I might just cut this off here and then tape around the edge like I did here. But yeah, so there's the box. It's pretty good size. I mean, this thing's every bit of 4 feet. I mean, these are 4-foot pieces here lengthwise. I just need to build a door. Well, I have a door somewhere around here. So I'll build a door, that way it hinges on this. I widened this a little bit, so that way it fits directly in the middle of those two. And yeah, it's coming along. All right, well, we got her pretty far along today. Been at a couple hours now. Taking some time off to watch some Supercross, but all taped up on the inside. Got it, you know, roughly fit into the opening here. I need to put some supports on the sides and as well as the back, so that way when I clamp the front on here and it shuts, it's got something to keep it from, you know, obviously moving around. But overall, this stuff looked pretty good here. This is just that. Let's see. So that stuff there is kind of a felt smoker gasket. Helps seal it up. I wish it was a little bit thicker, but I've already test fit the door on here and it actually seals it up pretty well. So when I'm able to put these on the side and really clamp the door in, it'll make more sense when it's all finished. When I'm able to clamp the door in, it'll really seal this up pretty well, so it's fairly airtight, because my test runs on this, there was a lot of air leaking around this and didn't work too well. So I'm actually going to test this real quick. I'm going to just tape the door on there, throw the PID controller in and see how it does. So I'll update on that. All right, just plugged it in. I got the PID controller set to 250. You can already tell, you can already see the number climbing there. Set in Fahrenheit. Got our red light on over here. And so this is, you know, kind of what I got here. I'll secure this a little bit tighter, maybe a little bit more permanent, to where I could still take the heat gun out if I wanted to, but all I have is just kind of temporary in here. Just need to make sure that it gets up to temperature, and it's already shutting itself off a couple times because I was messing with it, to be honest with you. But that's what the PID control is good for. And then I just put this thermocouple here that goes into the box. So I'm kind of hoping that, yeah, this needs to be sealed up a lot better. There's big gaps here. So I need to figure out something else that will help that out. But to be honest with you, even with those, I mean, this thing's climbing pretty fast. So let's see how long it takes. So it's kind of odd. It's still climbing pretty fast. We're only 10 seconds from that last cut. The PID controller thinks that it needs to shut off every so... let's see if it does it again. It was cutting it off like it needed to, but, you know, it's not even close to 250 yet. Although it's only been going for maybe 2 minutes total. We're already at 170, almost 180 degrees. So it seems to be doing all right. I got a lot more insulation in here than what I did last time. Man almighty, I can feel the heat coming out of this. I think if I seal this up even better, I think I might figure out something else to do there for that heat, for the seal. Might get a little bit better there, but truthfully, 190, still climbing. About 3 minutes later, we're just inching up to 250. So that's just still settings in that PID controller. I need to do a little bit better so that way it gets to 250 and then it'll shut off and not do this cycling thing it's doing right now. But check this out. I got a infrared here. Even still on the outside of the box, 60 degrees. That's how warm it is in my garage right now. The front's probably going to be a little bit warmer just because there's heat coming out. You can see right here. Super hot air coming out of there. Yeah. So definitely if I get that sealed up significantly better than what it is right now. Middle of the front of the box, 80 degrees. Middle of the side here, still 62. So this box isn't even really getting warm. And this installation here is only a single ply thick. There's nothing on the back side of that. So yeah, let's see where we're at. 244. So it's just inching up ever so slightly. Even the hole, that's right on where that heat gun's at, and the heat gun's only 75 degrees on the outside, so pretty impressive. So I unplugged it real quick. I'm gonna take this tape off real quick. Just to crack this thing open. Oh, I bet it's gonna pop. All right, let's see what. So that's the thermocouple right there. Side of the box. $122 way out here. The thing is, it just dumps all the hot air so fast. I don't even know. But yeah, seems to be all right. At least comfortable with it getting up to 250 degrees pretty quickly. Just need to set this PID controller up. So I'm going to cut to getting this thing finished and cleaned up a little bit, and I'll show you what I do with the door. I'll probably double up the door. I think there's too much heat. Even with that, I need to put more on the outside there, and then obviously seal the door up so well that you don't even feel hot air coming out of it, similar to like your oven in your house. And yeah, pretty cool. I mean, this thing's huge. That's more than big enough to fit a dirt bike frame in there, and pretty much anything else you can come up with that's around that size. So pretty cool. I'm stoked. All right, guys, we are officially in the gas out phase. So garage is a little discombobulated. It's snowing outside right now, so I had to move some stuff around, but you can see here, I've got it set to 325. I don't think it will get there very quickly, but what I want is for it to be around 250. So once it gets about 250, I'm gonna reset that thing to where it just regulates this back off and on and whatnot. But you can see PID controllers getting it warm. It's only been going for about, I don't know, 8 or 9 minutes, not super long to get to almost 250 degrees. So you see here, we got the thermocouple off to the side. I'll show inside also kind of what we got going on for the racking and all that stuff too. So then here's the front of the door. It's clipped on. Very temporary right now. I kind of, if I were to do this again, I'd do it maybe a little bit differently. But for now, it actually works pretty darn good. I've got more seal to get around this gap here. Like right now, there's really nothing coming up, but I know on the bottom, there's a little bit of a gap that you can feel some pretty good heat coming out. So as long as I get it sealed up a little bit better, I think it'll work even better, like to get to temp quicker and be able to get the parts up to temp quicker and stuff like that. So overall, you know, I've got less than $200 in this whole thing, minus maybe the PID controller. I'd have to add it all up, but either way, it's around 200 bucks, you know, with everything all in. And, you know, for a nice little oven that I could fit a whole subframe or a whole dirt bike frame in this thing, no problem. So, I mean, here you go. It's only been another couple minutes and we're sitting right at 250. So, we're definitely getting there. I mean, she's not a barn burner by any means, but it works so far. So we'll see how this Cerakote turns out after I get all these gassed out. Maybe another 30 minutes, I'll start spraying. But yeah, looking good. All right, it's been right at an hour or so. You can see still at 260 degrees right at. This thing's just regulating itself. That's pretty awesome. For its first time out, it did pretty good. I did lose power because my air compressor over here turned on, and I thought it was going to be okay, but we did pop a breaker. But got it back on. It didn't lose but like 3 or 4 degrees. All good. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this off, which I'm just going to turn that off. Okay. And actually I'll unplug it too, but let's open this door, let the heat out, and then I'll see how these parts look all degassed. A little bit more protection here. These are definitely hot. Grab the rack here. I can grab it like that. Oh, goodness. That's way heavier than I thought. Good to know. Bring it over here. Now, can once over these parts here. You know, bigger ticket items here. Looking for any spots that look like they're wet. I'm not seeing anything there. You know, I'm also not going for perfection. That's just the T from underneath. Nice. I think we might be good. Even if there are a couple little spots here and there. Again, first time Cerakoting anything, I just want to kind of go through the process. I think, you know, these look okay, so cool. There you go. All racked up. Now I'm gonna let them cool off a little bit more, and then I got my little setup over here. Not the greatest, but it'll work. So I'll come back when we're spraying. All right, we're to the point of mixing up our Cerakote. We are using the H190 Armor Black. It's pretty common, really. They say it's the flattest black, I guess. So we'll get that shaken up really well. I have a scale here. Let's turn it on real quick. I have a scale here that does grams. I've already tared it with the cylinder in here. So it does grams, and I'm gonna do this by weight instead of by volume. So some videos will show you that you use these little lines in here, these milliliter lines, and do it by volume, and it's not very precise. So, you know, have this in the kitchen, like I'll just use grams. It's way more precise. I mean, just barely any kind of pressure, super precise. So here's the hardener. It comes with this little cap, so we can actually just drip some drops in there. You know, some people use like syringes or whatever. I think that'll be just fine there. And then here's our strainer. I didn't opt to buy the cap strainer that goes on top of this here. So here's actually a little thing too, is I just put a little screw up through that slips in there, and you know, they sell these on Cerakote. It's like, just use that old 2x4 with a screw. That's your nice little gun holder there. So yeah, this strainer goes in here. There's caps that go on here that are reusable, but I want to say I got like 100 or 200 of these strainers off of Amazon for, I don't know, $10 or something like that. I'll put it down in the description. But as with everything else I'm using on here, I got this from Cerakote, this from Cerakote. Obviously it comes with the actual Cerakote itself is the hardener for this H series oven cure. So you don't have to buy this separately, which is kind of nice. But yeah, so we're gonna mix up some Cerakote now, and maybe get to spraying here in just a minute. All right, let's see how much of a mess I can make. We've got 0 grams. It's all teared out. I'm not really going for a set amount on the gram side. I just need a certain amount of actual Cerakote. Which I'm going to go for quite a bit. There you go. A little bit on the outside, not too bad. So there's 77 grams. So what I'm going to do, use my calculator on my phone real quick that actually has a calculator from Cerakote. All right, so 77 grams, 18 to 1 puts me at 3.31 grams. Now this doesn't do decimal points, but it is what it is. I think we can get pretty close. 78. Ooh, 80. which I'm actually going to, might go up to 81. I've got a couple drips over here that are probably adding a little bit to that, so there's 81. All right, I think we're close enough. That's 18 to 1. So, like I said, we got a couple drips over here that obviously threw that off. So we're sitting at 81 grams from 77 actual Cerakote. Then what I'm going to do to shake this up is put a stretch it over just like that, seal it up really well. Hold it down, make sure it's sealed up pretty good, and we're going to shake. All right, I've been shaking this thing for a better part of a minute, and to be honest, I think that's enough. So we'll take the cap off here, the little rubber glove, take our strainer, put it in top of the top here. We're going to pour all the contents of this guy through this mesh strainer. See the cup filling up. And that's all she wrote. Doesn't seem like a lot, but I think this stuff is so thin that a lot goes a long ways, or a little goes a long ways. So we'll see. I've obviously the first time ever doing this, so it's important to use a strainer, catch any globs or anything from the catalyst not mixing right or whatever. Throw the mesh strainer away. We'll put the cap back on the cup here, and I think we're ready to go. We're going to set our test pattern. Again, never done this before, so see how this works. We're going to go the other way. Okay, let's see what happens. Start recording here. Okay. Oh my goodness. Off to a great start. All right, here we go. Oof. It might be a little stiff on the it's definitely coming out wet, which is what you want. Okay, 2 parts down. It is all the way in, just a little backed out. It doesn't really do a whole lot, if I'm being honest. All right, big piece. So it is going on wet, which is definitely a good thing. You don't want it to go on dry. It means you're not putting enough. All right. I think that looks pretty good. No runs. Alrighty. We're shitting and getting now. Some of these parts, I intentionally didn't really do the most perfect prep, just to see what adhesion's like when parts aren't perfectly prepped. I'm not too sure if I'm putting it on too thick. Not enough. I don't know. We'll see. After a few seconds of it being on there, it actually looks dry, but it goes on wet, so I think I'm doing okay when it comes to how much is coming out of the gun. I'm really not sure how much paint or Cerakote I have left. It's been about 10 minutes, which gives me a few minutes to grab these, put them in there. Pretty much done flash curing. see if I can, I've got to come up with a better solution of how to get this over there and all that. But also maybe utilize more of my garage space. That'd be cool. So let's go ahead and put these on top of those screws in there. Help me support it that way. All right. Go ahead and slide these things in. Watch what I got going on in here. Put it on top of those screws up there. Oh, baby. And we're in. Look at that. Grab this guy. Check this out. All nice and tucked away. Come back here in about 2 hours, 250. Let's see how these turn out. They already look really good. I don't know if you can see that very well. They look pretty good, all flash cured, but once this gets, once I get them at 250 for hour and a half, 2 hours, golden, golden. I'm excited. Let's go. All right, in the process of cleaning the gun, and I just wanted to let you know, show you kind of how much we have left here. You can see it there at the bottom. So I didn't really start out with a whole heck of a lot, to be honest with you. I filled the cylinder up. I want to say it's a 50 milliliter cylinder, but yeah, we still have some left in this cup here. So, my biggest thing was I didn't know how much originally to use on any of this stuff and how far a little bit goes, but it certainly seems like, you saw how many parts I just sprayed, and I've still got some Cerakote left in this cup to use even more. I thought I was even lower than what I should have been, but all I'm doing is cleaning it with some acetone. I went and got, just an empty paint can. They're like $3, $4, or $5 from Home Depot, just to pour the used stuff in and used acetone and stuff. And then what I'll do after this fills up is just take it to the place that, you take your oil and all that stuff. It's once I'm done with filling this up, I'll take this to the chemical plant that has drop off for all this used acetone, used oil, that kind of stuff. So, and then just, keep reusing this paint can as my cleaning agent. But yeah, that's all it was. Cool. All right, quick update. Got the oven running. Can hear it regulating now. Set it 260. It'll climb up there real slow to 260, and then it'll hold it pretty good. So we're set at 260. Gonna give it from right now another hour and 45 minutes. Big thing, Cerakote, right? So this, what size is this? This is 16 ounce. This is 1 pint. I want to say this was like $90. Again, it came with this catalyst. This stuff smells absolutely atrocious. It is so bad. So be prepared. It smells like I've never smelt before. Big thing also, cleaning the gun immediately afterwards. So I took the tip off. I took this out. Again, Harbor Freight, $20. It even came with the regulator. I don't even have a dryer. I don't have anything hooked up to my air compressor. That's in the future. You know what I mean? Same with the better oven. I really just wanted to get going and learning and that kind of stuff. But biggest thing, also cleaning the gun immediately afterwards. You don't want to let that stuff sit very long at all. So not only did I clean the gun, I cleaned the cylinder here. So it looks like nothing even touched it. Don't want to do that. So here's a whole stack of, I mean, that's going to last me almost a lifetime of the mesh strainers that Cerakote calls out. So I bought these bottle brushes also that Harbor Freight sells. And I bought two separate packs just in case I needed different sizes or different things, you know. I want to spend like $10 worth of bottle brushes to make sure that everything is clean afterwards. That way, you know, everything's good. And then again, Harbor Freight, respirator, absolute necessity. I will be making a paint booth because, you know, doing this in my garage, kind of unventilated, even with some fans on, it got kind of cloudy in here and I don't want to do that again. So learn from stage one, try attempt number one. And more than just this, I definitely need better ventilation because it was not ideal to be so just cloudy all over the place. So, yeah, either way, we'll give it another couple hours. We'll come back and we'll see what we've got. I'm so freaking excited for this. I'm all about DIY. So the more I can learn and the more I can do things that enhances everything else that I've got going on around here, all the better. So, all right, back in the garage. 2 hours later, we're still regulated. Look at that, right at 260. What a champ. So I'm gonna go ahead and click this thing off. It's actually been a little over 2 hours, but it's not gonna hurt it. You know, let it run an extra 10 or 15 minutes afterwards. So, all right, I'm gonna put the camera down. Let's see what these things look like. Actually, you know what? I'm so freaking excited right now. Pop this thing off. Doing this one-handed here. Pop that off. All right. Put that thing off to the side. Let's look at these things. Much flatter than what they were going in, but that's just the color that that the Cerakote is, this Armor Black. Very very flat black. So let me put this thing down for a second. Let's look at this in the light. How freaking incredible is that? Guys, I can't even tell you how much of a rookie I am at this stuff. Let's get some close up. Look at that. That is incredible. I've never done anything like this in my life. And it looks so good. That's insane to me. How good that looks. Oh my goodness. Let's get one of these bigger parts again. Ooh, I did miss some spot there. Look at that. Look at that. I missed a spot. That's all right. That's all right. Absolutely insane. That is so crazy to me. How even the small parts. Let's look at this. I mean, so it's so uniform. Wild. I'd call that a success, even on those first three parts here. Let's see if I missed any spots on this one. And I kind of missed the same spot on both of them, but I think that'll be pretty well covered up by. There's a big old spot right there. Goodness gracious. I got to do better about making sure I got everything coated. Look at everything else. Finish pulling all this stuff out. We'll go over it, kind of see if I missed any other spots here or there. But overall, this is, yeah, I'm so freaking excited for this stuff. Okay, everything out of the oven, and I definitely have some learning to do. You see here, parts are still pretty warm, but overall, coverage looks really good on parts that you know, I paid attention to, and like this one actually looks really. This is the upper. This is the upper triple clamp, right? Bar mounts go in here. This will go in here like this, right? But you see, I got a few of these parts, even on this nut. I didn't even get hardly. I feel like I was just being so scared of running. You know, if any of this stuff running, I've got spots on quite a few of these parts. Now this one I'm not too worried about. The, you know, the rear shock, these things here, I'm not too worried about that kind of stuff. But you know, this cap here, steering stem nut, look pretty good. These actually turned out pretty good too. But still, there's so many spots in here that, you know, I could have hit a lot better. And then this one for sure, I'm gonna have to probably redo this, reshoot this or something next time I put some of this black in the oven. I'll reshoot that because obviously I missed that here. But overall, you know, I definitely need to pay attention to, you know, how much I actually shoot onto this thing. I think I can be a little bit more generous with, you know, not thinking that I'm just caking it on there. It's actually going on there a lot less than what I had originally expected. So overall though, I mean, you look at that finish, it looks so flipping good. For my first time using the oven, first time using that gun, I'd call it a major success. Now, obviously, me and my perfectionist style, I can't live with this for sure. You know, I can't live with that. Some of these other things, you know, like this, yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see much of that anyways, but, you know, it is what it is. It's all trial and error and learning from your mistakes and, you know, making sure that you get coverage on everything. I did tape some of this stuff up too, but yeah. Well, guys, that's it for the Cerakote episode. It's the first time ever Cerakoting any part ever, right? The gun was brand new. I've literally never done anything like this in my life. So obviously learning from other YouTube videos and reading the H series application guide and things like that, kind of taking my time and doing it right the first time certainly helps. But clearly I have some deficiencies here. You know, I missed some spots, and overall it's incredible. Like, this is incredible stuff. It doesn't scratch. It doesn't, I mean, holy cow. I'm excited to get some more colors and to do more of these parts like this, custom colors, and make these bikes look incredible. On my RM250 right back behind there, I got some parts that I need to do for that as well, just to kind of make it look a little better. So yeah, if you like this, again, like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that YouTubers say, and I'll catch you in the next one.